Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Everyone, welcome to another episode of Conversations While We Wait. I am your host, Victoria C. Frederick, creator and founder of Victoria Frederick General Enterprise. And tonight, we getting straight into the thing. I'm not sure how long we'll be on tonight. We have a steamy topic to talk about, and I want us to get right in. I know we didn't do the intro song, but don't worry. We're working on something. We're working on something. And hopefully, by segment two, in the next few weeks, we will have that set up and ready. Hope you're good. We're going to open in prayer as we always do. And then we're going to get into this topic. Yeah? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, oh God. Thank you for life, oh Holy Master God. Thank you for health, strength, oh Holy Father Jesus. For your mercies, for your grace, for your favor, Holy Father God. Lord, you are awesome. And we thank you for all of our viewers, all of our supporters, all of our community members, everyone who's tuned in, the Spiritual Baptist Radio, everyone that helps us get this word out, oh Holy Father Jesus. We ask that you join us in the midst of these conversations tonight, and that you allow your wisdom to flow through me, oh Holy Master God. Let it rest on someone so that they may receive something from this. In Jesus' almighty name, amen. So, tonight we are talking about kingdom dating and loneliness. Where am I getting these topics? But it all falls under our foundations and growth segment theme, right? So we really want to just shed light on some of the topics that the church is not really talking about, or the kingdom dwellers, they're not really talking about, but they are struggling with. So, dating. What is that really about? You know, now we based in Trinidad and Tobago, Trini, Caribbean. What is that dating thing about? And should we even be dating? I want you all to let us know in the comments what you all think. I want you all to let us know. I'm interested in the thoughts and the perspectives on this subject matter. Good night, Michelle. So, one would think that with such a world of technology at our reach, and the many dating apps that they have, that dating would be easy, or way easier than it seems to be. Now, I don't know because I don't date. Yeah, no. It's a no for me. But many of y'all do. That's why we need to hear the perspectives, right? So, we want to know, like, I want to know. Let me just say, if nobody else don't want to know, I want to know, like, which side we fall on. Because as I say, dating should be a little bit easier. It have so many apps out now. Dating apps. It even have Christian dating apps. So, for those of you who are on, I want to know, you all think Christians supposed to be dating or not? And then another question we would like to tackle tonight is, with as many things available to keep us occupied, we don't want to venture into whether it's healthy or unhealthy just yet. But with all the things that is available to help keep us occupied, we should be a lot less lonely, right? Right? So tonight, we're going to try to answer all these things. We want to talk about why waiting is so hard, what contributes to messy or the messy reality of finding partnership and community. If kingdomites, like I often call you, or I fondly call kingdom dwellers, God's people, that, right? If they should even be dating, is that biblical? And we also want to find out how to shift our focus from finding the one to becoming the one. And in the midst of all of that, how do we deal with loneliness? How? So, at any point, you can pop in the comments, you'll share the live. If you're in subscribe to the channels by now, because there's 2 channels you'll need to subscribe to. Subscribe to the channels and like, share, click the little bell so you will get the notification when we are live. You don't want to miss it. And we want to hear the wider perspective. Like, I don't just want to be hearing my perspective on this matter. We want to hear the wider perspective on just the things. Okay? So, kingdom dating and loneliness. I personally want to know if you think kingdomites, kingdom dwellers should be dating. Do we think that is a biblical principle? And, just share with me. But while you're figuring that out, I will tell you all what I discovered. Right? So, apparently, yes, serious questions. Apparently, it's not so much fun or so easy dating in 2026, right? So we have we have Andel saying, to me, dating is a good way to get to know someone who you might be interested in. Okay, all right. So apparently, dating is not as much fun as some people think. Some people seem to enjoy, but I think for believers or people who seriously desire marriage, dating is not really appealing, right? Now, I think the Caribbean persons, people from the Caribbean, maybe Trinidad specifically, we tend to interchange between dating and courtship. And I think the world and culture has mixed the thing up so much that we are essentially a bit confused in terms of what is what means what, and what is biblically accepted or suggested. Right? And you all know I'm going to give you all the Bible perspective because that's what we live by on these ends. So let me get into it. So if we watch the patterns in the Bible, dating wasn't really a thing. Dating as we know it, where you engage with multiple partners and you go out on different dates with different people, and I went to the movies with this one, and then this one took me on a picnic, and this one, we know that was nowhere in the Bible. What's the Bible highlighting, however, was a process where you kind of observed, you paid attention, or you followed. It was more like arranged marriages. We have instances where marriages were arranged, and I love this story. I love the account of Isaac's coming together. His marital arrangements. I really love that. The servant was sent, and then if the woman was willing to come, she decided she did. She decided to go, and she saw him, and it was like this whole little love affair happening there. Oh my God, I love it. If you all don't know by now, I'm a hopeless romantic. But she lighted off the little camel, and she was like, "That's my boo there," and that was the end of that for them. Right? Then we have the Ruth and Boaz. We love to talk about Boaz. Ruth was gleaning in Boaz's field. Boaz noticed, and then you know what he did? He was like, okay, let me be helpful. Let me make life a little bit easier for her. And then he went and he did his due diligence. the parts where she had to go and lay at his feet, all of that happened inside that day, but that's not what we really want to get into. The point I want to get into is what was emphasized most in the Bible was courtship and that engagement period. Courtship, or more so, it was like, who? Yes, Camille Gill. It's me, right? So, courtship is essentially the period where you meet somebody or you see somebody, you interact with somebody, and you realize, this person might be a bit interesting. And I think I would like to get to know this person. And then you go and you intentionally interact with this person, just this person, to see if it is you all are equally yoked. And then, after some months, you go and you state your intentions for marriage. So the only type of dating I will come into agreement with is intentional dating. And what do I mean by that? Intentional dating is basically what I described. You and that person A sees person B. Oh, there's some form of attraction or vibe, or you'll have a friendship and you'll feel like maybe, you feel like this could probably be whatever it might be for you. Everybody is different, right? And you decide, what? I feel like this could be something more. I feel like this could be something great. Whatever you heard from the Lord. Don't really want to get too much into that, but whatever, however it might have gone, and you decided, what? Yeah, this is. So now you decide you're going to take this person out, or you're not going to go out to different places where you can experience the person in different settings while you are getting to know them. Now, if people may find I am too direct or I am too, but I heard Steve Harvey say it one time. Because if I'm intentionally dating, I am not coming to sit across a dinner table from you to ask you, hey, what's your favorite color? Hey, yeah, what you prefer? What's your favorite food? No, but we will figure that out. We will figure that out. I want to know the hard, heavy stuff. Because I think this is my personal opinion here, we waste too much time with people because we dancing around the important matters. And by then we have invested 6 months, a year, 2 years, then to realize, oh, this person is not emotionally mature as yet. This person still don't know how to deal with conflict in a healthy way. This person has some toxic traits that I don't really want to tie myself to for the rest of my life. I can't work with that. This person is unequally yoked with me in several areas. Why are we wasting time as if we are the author of time? If you are serious about marriage, I'm talking to the people who are serious about marriage here. If you are serious about marriage, then what you should be doing is intentionally dating, right? Before you enter into courtship, right? Intentionally dating, because you're just dating one person. So the outside world, the cultural world would consider that to be dating exclusively, right? But you have one person and you spend quality time with that person, developing your friendship and your knowledge of the person. So there's nothing sexual happening there. There's nothing inappropriate happening there. What you all are doing is you all are meeting, getting to know each other, right? And as I say, not the what's your favorite food, what's your favorite pastime. Those things, it could come up, yes. But you want to get to the heavy stuff. You want to get to the how do you deal with conflicts? What triggers you? What what bothers you? What is something that you have not dealt with from your childhood? That is the kind of things that you want to be talking about. It saves us so much time. And why are we leaving the sexual stuff off the table? Because the sexual stuff clouds judgment. When you're and somebody vibing sexually, everything is good. Everything feels good. Everything sounds good. Everything is just the red flags looking green. You get colorblind. All these different things happening there. When you leave that out the table, your discernment is heightened. You don't bring them around early enough. Oh, who said that? Yes, Esther. That's another thing. That's another thing that we do. We want to keep it private. We want to keep it, oh my God, this is just between us and you all. Take it from somebody who used to do this. I value my parents so much that I used to be like, no, I don't want nobody meeting my parents. To this day, in my big grown age, only two people have ever been introduced to my parents as a boyfriend. Two people. Because it was like, bruh, if you can't pass the test with me, then you're not even meeting these people. These people is not for any and anybody. But I realized that part of that was probably the enemy trying to help me sabotage me. Because the safest thing to do is to bring them around your family quick. One, and you don't have to bring them around your family in a heavy way, like, this is the person I intend to marry. No, 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 no. What you do is you're having a little family line and you say, hey, Papi, now. Because there are some things that your family would be able to discern that you may not. You might be still in a little giddy stage, but your family might be like, oh, well, he's not really helpful. Or I was having this conversation and this come up and this might be a concern. This is something that you might want to press into a little bit, right? Then also what you are doing by doing that, you're allowing that person to see if they can deal with what comes with you. Because there's a way that you are when you're around your family, and it's more of the natural version of you. Because what we tend to do, we tend to pretend or perform in the early stages of relationships. It's all like, I need to look my best and I need to be my best. I need to sound my best. Even in your conversations, you're trying to be politically correct, you don't want to mash any toes and you don't want to, so you're just kind of like, oh, let me restructure that sentence. Oh, let me just type this differently. Let me pull this back. Oh, I was going to use that word. Let me use this other word. That is how we tend to be when things are now starting up. And when we get comfortable, now for those of us who have been comfortable from the start, big up you all. You're already steps ahead. But for those of us who are not and are working our way there, when we get comfortable, then our guards are down. We are not filtering our thoughts or our words or our speech, anything. We just speak. Our conversations come freer, right? So when you're with your family, because you're comfortable with them, that tends to happen. So, the ones of us who now laugh like, that's not how you laugh at home. That's not how you laugh with your family. But that's how you're laughing in front of this man. Fake laugh. You're eating, all of a sudden, you're eating very cutesy, very dainty. And it's like, no, that's not, what is that? Your portion's really small. So now you get to see, is this person able to deal with the different family dynamics that comes in? Because if they think your family is too much, then more than likely they're not going to want to be around your family for family gatherings. And if you're a family that is really close knit, that means it's going to have a lot of those, right? Oh, I missed that comment there. But that means it's going to have a lot of those. But how do you tell them that's not the one without their feeling you hating? Whew, baby. Maybe not say that's not the one. Maybe just politely highlight what you've noticed and allow them to come to their own conclusion. Maybe highlight something. And I say that because they might have noticed it too and shrugged it under the rug. So by you highlighting it, it will be like, now it becomes to the forefront. It comes to the forefront of their mind, and it's not just something that they've buried. Because it's harder to ignore something when you're not the only one who've noticed it. So just highlight. I noticed this, and I just telling you, you're and adding a little positive in there too. Don't just come in like negative Betsy. Nobody wants that. Come in like, oh, this person really cool. I mean, find something that's actually true, because you all know I'm not about that just telling lies kind of situation there. I'm not about lying to make people feel better. If you've met me, right? Find something that is truthful. Okay? They're really funny, they're real funny. But I don't know, That's how I would say it. But then too, people who have met me, they usually meet the real me right off the jump. So I would be able to say that because you would know that this is who I am. I say what I need to say, right? Some people are sensitive. When you're dealing with sensitive people, especially if it's somebody who has not brought a partner wrong in a while, or somebody who is not, or who falls for people easily, or somebody who is just naturally sensitive, then you know you're gonna have to take it back a little bit and be like, you sure? You sure? Like, like tell me some of the things, you ask more questions and then try to get them there. And then prayer is always the best thing. You pray the prayer that they're not praying. Lord, if this person is not for them, then just remove them swiftly, amicably, peacefully, that kind of thing. That prayer works. And I think it will work if somebody on the side prays it as well. So, just to reiterate, I have not seen in the Word of God where dating was, recommended or highlighted as a pathway or as a part of the process to get to marriage, right? It was arranged marriages. They mentioned courtship or in that engagement period. That is what was mentioned. No mention of dating. Okay, but however, we are in different times. You want to be a little bit more cautious. You want to take your time getting there. That's okay. What I would suggest, advise, whichever word you want to put in there, would be intentional dating if you are serious about marriage. People who tend to just date multiple people, they just want to have a good time. Or they may think they really want marriage, but what they don't understand is that doing that tends to just make it harder. Because think of it, especially believers. Think of it, right? Believers, people who have been called to be wise, we are not wired for that. We are not wired for that multiple kind of no. Because then you might like, oh, I like this one's character. Oh, but I like this one's, different things. You would like different things about different people. So now you have 5 different people and you like different things about each of them and you don't know. Now you're trapped. Oh, he's financially stable. Oh, yeah, but but this one, what's the difference between courting and dating? I'll get to that just now. One might be financially stable. One might be, oh yeah, he has the little attractiveness. Okay, studying your kids, your legacy. The next one, he might be showing up. He's available. He knows how to show up, but he might also be unemployed. That's why he have the time to show up for you, literally, right? And then another one, he might have a good rapport with your family. He fits in with the family, but something a little bit off. His the spiritual side of him is probably not where you think it should be. So now you have just opened the door. You've split yourself with all these different people. You've now made the choice harder for you. Why? Have you ever walked in a place and seen a bunch of things that you want, and then all of a sudden now you're confused because you don't know which one to get? Problems. Now, if you just walk in a store and there's only one thing that you want there, it's like, thank you, satisfied, happy. When there's options, you're there now, time wasted. Which one to get, you or you? Right. Difference between dating and courting, I think, is the intentionality behind it. I really think it's simply the intentionality behind it. Dating is giving the air of, I'm just trying to have fun. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to hide my loneliness. I'm just trying to be liked. I'm just trying to have a good time. That. Courting is you're intentional about this person. When you're courting somebody, that person has your attention. God has your attention about that person. That person is doing the same thing that you're doing. Now it's like you're fixed, you're focused. So in business, they would tell you, don't try to do too many things at once. Don't try to open too many business ventures at once. Focus on one facet of the business, then move on to the next facet, then the next facet, so that you can have that your complete attention on that thing. When you have your complete attention on one thing, you're able to spot different flaws, different things that need fixing. It's harder for you to miss something. So when you are dating multiple people, what you tend to only highlight the good things about those people. And then you could miss some of the bad things that get, because you went on 3 dates with this person and you went on 2 dates with that person. Look, somebody listed out there. Yeah. And now you want to keep all of them because all of them is bringing something else to the table that is benefiting you. Dating is more than one person's quote and exclusive with the goal of marriage. Right? Thank you for simplifying that for me. Right? So, it's the intentionality behind it. What are your intentions? Right? And before we even get to that, so to skip a little bit down to one of the other questions, before a person even entertains the thought or the idea of whether should I be dating or not, the first question they should be asking themselves is, am I ready to date? Do I have the capacity? Am I healed? Am I whole? These are some of the questions they should ask themselves. Would I date me in my current state? Now, you have to be a healed, healthy person to even be able to ask yourself that question, because some people might say no even when nothing is wrong with them, but because they don't have a healthy self-concept, they would say no. Some people, the no is really the no. Some people are in so much denial that they would say yes, but they're toxic. Problems, right? So first you have to do an examination of yourself. Have I become what I'm looking for? This is one of the questions we wanted to talk about on the list, right? Have I become what I'm looking for? Have I become? So anybody who might be listening, who is still single, who is still in the waiting stages, whatever the case may be, what I need you to do is go through your list. The list that you made for your spouse or your intended spouse, I need you to go through that list using yourself as the mirror. Or you want somebody who's considerate, are you considerate? You want somebody who's helpful, are you helpful? You want somebody who's supportive, are you supportive? You want somebody who's submitted to Christ, are you submitted to Christ? And you go through that list and see, am I what I'm asking for? Because we attract what we are. Now, how do I know that? Because if you pay attention to your dating or your courtship history, you would see that when you were broken, you were attracting brokenness. I call it trash. You were attracting trash. When in your broken season, if you're honest with yourself, trash. They're probably not trash now. I hope they are not, but trash, as in bare minimum energy. So when I say trash, I don't mean, I just mean that bare minimum energy, doing nothing. So in my experience, and I've shared this before, I've had to be the function in the masculine role in many of my relations. That sounds a little extreme because I just told her it was only 2 serious relationships there, so I don't really know many. So many of my situationships, that is the better word for it. Many of my situationships, I've had to act in the masculine role, right? Because I wasn't the things that I was looking for. I didn't have that mirror. It wasn't mirroring. I hadn't become the things that I was looking for on my list. So I kept attracting people from my brokenness, right? And because of that, it would have skewed a lot of things, but God is so good, He wastes nothing. So He allowed everything to work. Even the counterfeits, when they started coming, He allowed that to be. I'm gonna use this as part of your healing journey. Come on, God is so good. Come on. I should have got amen for that, but anyway, that's okay, right? So you have to become, and if we spend time focusing on becoming the one instead of looking for the one, then that just takes so much time out of the process. Lord, who do you need me to be? Who do you want me to be? What do I need to become in order to attract the person that you say is right for me? And the Lord had to show me, sis, you need to elevate your thoughts about yourself. So I started to pray and ask God, Lord, help me to see me the way you see me. Help me to see me the way you see me. Help me to love me the way you love me. Like it was a whole process, right? And then when that started to happen, I realized that I was able to recognize people who was giving bare minimum energy from a mile away. Before I even engaged you, you understand? Within the first couple conversations, I was like, bruh, no, we're not going back there. No, we're not doing that. Nope. So that's where we had to start. Now, when we have healed ourselves, we've dealt with the things that are broken in us, we've surrendered it to Christ and all that good stuff. Then we could start talking about, okay, Lord, how are we doing this? I want you. No, this is an area of person's life that they don't submit to God, which I think is dangerous because we give God everything else. Why this integral and crucial part of our lives we want to make a decision for ourselves? Who we marry? Mm-mm. Who we bear children for? Who will we leave our legacy to? Like that's what we want to that's what we want to decide for ourselves. Now I remember reading in the word where the Lord would specifically tell the people what tribes not to associate and intermingle themselves with, what tribe not to take wives from. And here we are just feeling like we could just do what we want. No. So when we have matured enough to start asking Lord the question, Lord, who do you want me to marry? And I know it's had a group of people who say, God, don't pick your spouse and all of that jazz. Let them stay there. Right? They can stay on that side. I believe God is able to do all things. And I believe if he shows up in the small things and the things that are inconsequential, essentially, then why wouldn't he show up in this major area? The question is, do we have the patience to wait on his timing to do what we think he should do now? So we start entertaining that conversation. Yes, Lord. Da, 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 da. Then you might meet somebody or you might see somebody and you might have an interest in them. And then you go to God. Because at every stage you should go back to God. Lord, I see this person. I like this person. What to do? This person is from you. Da 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 da. You're not sure if you're hearing from God. You might say, okay, I'm gonna see for myself. And then while you're doing that, you're still praying, Lord, if this is not from you, shut it down. If this is not what you want me to do, shut it down. And trust me, he will. If it's really the enemy, and he will shut it down. Right? Talking from experience. So, as believers, as kingdom dwellers, we have to first understand that even in dating, or especially in dating, we cannot leave Christ out of it. And especially in dating, the way that we do it must align with the word of God. It cannot just be, this is what culture is doing, this is what is trending now, this is what is happening now. Because what? No, I'm not saying don't go out. I'm not saying don't engage in fun activities and hobbies and stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about multiple dating or serial dating or whichever other term. Believers should not be doing that. Right? If somebody is interested in you or you're interested in that person and they desire to get to know you, you all can decide at what pace. Boundaries must always be included. So some people will do the group dating. Some people will, your personal life and group dating is wild, right? Maybe it's a conditioning in me that still needs to be plucked out. But group dating is kind of wild to me because maybe it's when it's introduced or how it's introduced. I don't know. I don't know because I want to get to know this person on a one-on-one level. There are things that I want to engage and ask this person that I would not do that if we're in a group setting. So the group setting would be to say, okay, can this person interact in group situations? Can they vibe, Can we have a good time when it's not just us? Because some people can, like, as soon as more people come in the mix, it's like they shut down. There's this weirdness. It's awkward. That's kind of concerning. At least I think so, right? But then, so you get to see that. But in terms of the getting to know the person aspect, you all could set boundaries in that. If you know you have a wild attraction for the person, then please, no, after it set up liming, just the two of you all, and then things, and then talking about, I don't know how this happened, and it was an accident. Like, come on, we grown, right? Boundaries, the late night conversations and stuff like that. You can feel when conversations about to switch. If you're attentive enough, you would feel when your voice like just changes, and all of a sudden it gets a little come on, don't tell me you don't feel that. Don't, from the time you, even if you sit down talking to somebody, from the time your body starts to relax and you feel yourself going into I could lie down, time to come off that phone. Problems. Problems. Let us be honest with ourselves here. Right? So dating, even with all the technology, is not any easier. And I personally think it's because it was not the original design that God had. Does that mean it does not work? It works. There are many people who have met their significant others through dating apps and Facebook and social media and all these kind of other places. So it's not impossible, but there's a process. There's a vetting process. And if you use the Holy Spirit as the main vetter, you will save yourself a world of trouble. So plenty people may question, why should we do that? Why should we just lock into one person? If you lock into one person, you save yourself much more time. I'm telling you. And it only happens if you ask the hard questions early. I saying this just in case my future husband listening, because don't ask me no, where's your favorite food and where you want to go. Bruh, let's deal with the hard things first, the easy things will come. Hit me the hard questions. If this could feel like an interrogation for the first few days, I don't care. Let me get it out of the way, right? Even if we had to sit down like, you sure you want to know the answer to this? Because let me tell you, somebody who is not really in it, they're not gonna stick around. And I remember, well, I always tell a story. So I remember one time I went down to the police academy to do something. I had some documents to drop off there. Yes, you all, I was trying to be a police officer. The Lord was like, nope, that's not for you. He know why. I know why too. I didn't know why any moment, but anyway, that's not the point of the story. Met a guy down there. This guy, that seems so persistent and in it at the start, right? This guy, no, if anybody know me, I'm a little bit extra. What do I mean by extra? Like, when I'm dressed, when I'm doing stuff, heels must come. So pack up and I'm putting on my heels. I saw the guy pull up. He ended up reaching in, dropping off his stuff before me because I gotta get these shoes on. And mind you, the shoe is just to get from the car to the gates. I really didn't know. I thought I would have more walking to do. But anyway, reach by the gate, I was like, no, we just take it this here, whatever. So I say, okay, guy done drive off, I'm minding my business. Jump back in the car, shoes had to come off because I drive bare feet all year. That's the best way for me. It's against the law, apparently. So make sure, let's don't do it. Don't be like me, okay? Right? So anyway, driving out now. The guy is at the and if you all know police academy in Trinidad, you all will know. He's at the entrance. What road is that? That's what Trangage Road? Is that? Oh my gosh. Where am I? Yeah, I think that's Trangage stretch there. He's on the outside there, flagging me down. And I'm like, so I stop. Do this like, let me get your number, da 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 da. And I not attached to anybody in that time. So I'm like, and I wasn't, I didn't know nothing. I was just like, okay, Lord, maybe this is my meet cute story. Anyway, give the dude my number, and I'm like, if he call, he call. If he ain't call, whatever. He called immediately. He wants to see. Let me see if I give her the right number. Let me see if she gave me the right number. Anyway, so this dude starts, and he could tell he's accustomed with this because he's like, we should go out and I could take you out and that. And you can tell he's being all smooth about it because it's like, he feel like, I on the inside, So he started, hype up the thing. But I mean, he don't know me. He didn't know me, obviously, to know that money and dates and thing not going to phase me at that stage in my life. That wasn't going to phase me. There was a stage in my life where all you need to say is, I'm taking you out to a meal, and I was going to be like, baby, I can eat. Right? But the Lord matured, girl. And I was like, I'm not in that zone anymore. I was like, V, if you don't like the dudes, don't go out with them. Okay? And to be honest, I wasn't really sure if I liked it. It was kind of like on the fence, but it didn't really matter. A free meal, a chance to dress up, I used to say yes. Young V that's as wild as V used to get. But anyway, so dude is like doing his thing. I was like, no, it's okay. You could tell he's taken aback now, like, what do you mean? So he try again. I was like, no, I think we should just talk for a little bit before we go out. Because I really don't want to exert my energy for somebody that not going to make it pass. So I was like, you know what? No, it's okay. Let's just get to know each other a little bit via messages and then see where it goes. Well, you can tell nobody has ever told dude that. He was a little kind of like, But he said, okay, no problem. We talking. No, I have been called to a period of abstinence until marriage. So, in my experience, it is best to tell these males and then that up front. So I'm not out here talking to you for 2 weeks and going out with you and you don't know that information. So as early as I can get it out, I would be like, okay, da 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 da. I am in waiting until marriage. When I tell you it saves time, that was by the second conversation, and I am letting this guy know, don't waste our time. Because I already sensed it. And then he was like, from the moment I said it, he went, oh, oh, okay. Energy shift. And I'm on the other end and I'm laughing because I'm like, why are you wasting time? Now, I've always said this, right? If it is all you want is sex with somebody, I think you should be upfront and say that. If all you want is a good time, I think they should say that. If all you want, and mind you, kingdom people this shouldn't be applying to us, but because I know we're human and some of us are in different stages in our spiritual journey, it comes in and it applies, right? Just say what you want and leave it up to the person to decide. If you want a friends with benefit, if you want somebody on the side, a side piece, whatever, make that clear. Don't bring somebody into a situation unknowing, or don't waste time. There are some serious people out here who are really waiting for marriage, and we don't want to waste time. Right? So that was in my season when I was still entertaining people. When I was actively looking, that kind of, you meet somebody and you're like, I wonder, Lord, I wonder, that's when I was in that season. And then I was like, Lord, you know what? I really kind of, I'm fed up. You know what? Hide me. Don't let nobody see me until it's my husband. Like, I don't want to be seen. I don't, this veil me. Because it started to, so when I say dating is not easier, I wasn't even fully in it. And it was like strenuous. And this was years ago. And I saw a video with a woman crying on a video. Like, she was crying. She did a video with us crying because it was so traumatic, her dating experience. So I was like, you know what? We're not doing it. Now, people may have different experiences. I think it's just an avenue to get hurt. It's just a way to get hurt. It might take a little longer for it to happen, but serial dating is dangerous, especially for kingdom dwellers, and more so for women who are called to be wives and men who are called to be husbands, right? That is not the path and the way to get to it. Courtship, on the other hand, definitely, right? Definitely. So somebody might want to know, or one of the questions we have here, why is waiting for your Boaz so hard? And I'm not saying Boaz, I'm not only talking to the women, but why is waiting for that intended spouse so hard? I wouldn't say it's hard. I would say it's it's challenging. I don't like the word hard. I try not to use that word at all. Good night. Good night. I try not to use that word at all, at all, at all. Right? I don't want it in my vocabulary. So I use the word challenging and words that can be conquered. When you say something is hard, it feels like it's impossible. When I say something is challenging, it's like I can rise to the challenge. So waiting is challenging, and it feels even more challenging when different things are happening within us. And from my experience, I've noticed that it feels harder when, one, I take my eyes off of Christ. So Isaiah 26:3 speaks about the perfect peace of Christ. All right? Uh perfect peace. Like, if your mind is stayed on him, you're in perfect peace essentially. So once I take my eyes off of Christ, problems. That is when the weight of waiting starts to feel so heavy. Right? That's one. Two, when I start to compare. When I start to compare where I thought I would have been already in life, or where others are in life, or what the Lord is doing for others, um, it gets like, Lord, so what about me? That's when I start to feel forgotten. Right? And then another time when the waiting starts to feel hard or challenging is when things have slowed. When things are slow. So in episode 1, we would have talked about the silence of God, when God feels like he's silent. So when God is actually working on it. So when we've entered into that transition stage, so we come out of the wilderness and we are transitioning into the promised land, into that next level, whatever that next level may be, and whatever area of our life it might be in. When I'm in those little seasons of transition, that's when it gets challenging because God is quiet, or he feels quiet. What do I mean by he feels quiet? He's talking less because he's working more. He's talking less because he's already given instructions. But if I've already heard from him, I'm already working on the thing that he said, then I feel like I have time. So think about it, right? You're in class, the teacher put work on the board and tell you, do this. And when you finish doing this, you'll do these 2 practice questions here and keep occupied until I get back. But then you've been doing this for a while and you grasp it so well that you're finished in no time. You've recorded this stuff on the board, you've done the 2 practice questions, and then you're just there waiting for the teachers to return. Now you are like, I need something to do. So in those moments, that's when I begin to feel like, oh my gosh, Lord, everything else is good in my life. Every other area, things are moving smooth. I've seen your hand in all the areas. So it's just this one area, right? What really going on? That's when. And so it's just a refocusing. Okay, let me go back to something. Let me review something. Let me start to prepare for the next season, because that little gap is not that little gap. We shouldn't really be playing in that gap, That little gap is like, okay, let me boost up. Somebody who like a soldier, they would use the little downtime in the middle of war to check their rifle, check their weapon, clean it, make sure they have enough ammunition, go and check the inventory. That's what they will be using that time to do, you know? And that's what I need to be using that time to do. But sometimes it's like, oh, I have a lot of time on my hand, boy. This feels suspicious. And then, oh, all kind of other things start happening. The enemy start creeping in. And then I'm like, Lord, what's going on? How come we taking so long? So that's the three areas that you can check if you're in a waiting season and you feel like it's taking a little bit too long. Where is your focus? Right? Where's your focus? Um, two, are you comparing? And three, is it that you should be preparing? There's some preparation that you should be doing for what the Lord is about to do instead of just like, Lord, I kind of waiting on you, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is what contributes to the messy reality of finding partnership and community. What contributes to the messy reality of finding partnership and community? Now, I think it's an innate desire to want company or want to know that you're not walking through life alone. So some people they find that solace in a best friend. Some people is in community, some people is in partnership, some people is in business. Like they find it in different places. Now, if you've put too much pressure on that, or if you've put too much, like, you just focus, you zone everything on that, it can begin to feel like too much, right? And then the things that you do have begin to feel like it's not enough. So, for instance, somebody who might be so desirous of finding love, romantic love, may neglect or ignore the love that they have in their church community, in their work environment, from their family, from their friends. They may not realize just how rich their life really is because they want what they want in a certain area that it's hard to see it and make that correlation in other areas. It becomes messy when we begin to focus or miss the things. So I've noticed that when I switch to a state of gratitude, everything is better. Like it don't really matter what. It don't matter what I'm dealing with. Once I start thanking God, it's like a whole praise party, and then nothing can break it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, I could get bad news. And I'd be like, Lord, thank you so much. It could have been worse. Thank you so much. I remember one time that actually happened, and I was about to complain. I was mid complaining, and I was like, wait, this could have been worse. The Lord actually aligned it in such a way where, and then I was like, I said, you know what? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so very much. And everything shifted. Everything shifted in terms of how I was dealing with it. And even recently, I found myself becoming frustrated in a situation where I felt like I was missing. No, okay, I'm gonna give it a little backstory before I get there. So, what God does with me, He gives me deadlines. He gives me time frames where things have to happen by. And sometimes it's not as clear. Like it's just like this pressing that I have to do this now, or I have to do this soon. And I know He does this with other people as well. But I love when He does this because that's when I feel like yeah, God walking with me. I just see the lamp in my part there, like, yeah. So I just get really excited. And I try to be extremely obedient. So when I feel like I'm missing that deadline, I tend to go into kind of like a spaz. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, I'm so sorry. And I'm having this moment, like, Lord, please have mercy on me. Because I'm never in that place where I want to get so like full of myself. So I'm always cognizant that I don't know what is happening in the spiritual realm. I don't know why He wanted this release now. I don't know why He wanted this done now. I don't know why He wanted me to move now. And I'm always thinking of who the people that He may be trying to have me reach, you know? So I remember I was starting to get frustrated because I'm feeling like I'm missing the deadline, but for some reason it's like things are not moving as I needed to move. And then I was like, you know what, Lord, I just hope that that this thing still does what you needed it to do, even though I've missed the deadline. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful that you have selected me to do this. Like I started to have that type of moment. And then things started to shift. And I realized that the delay was actually protection because the direction in which I was taking it in, and it just wasn't what He wanted. So I was like, I sat this week just like, Lord, you really just are so amazing. That what felt like a delay to me was actually you aligning me and you answering my prayer and directing me in the way um, I needed you to. So it becomes messy when we are out of alignment. It becomes messy when we don't see the good in what we have. When we are not contented, it becomes messy, right? I talk about that. I talk about if we should be dating. I talk about shifting our focus on finding the one to becoming a one. And what I want to close off with is how to deal with the loneliness that creeps in. Because the reality is loneliness creeps in. Now, there are people who talk a lot, married people and people who've been who are in relationships who talk a lot to singles, and they're like, yo, enjoy your singleness, and they say all these stuff that I wonder if they've ever experienced a single season. Because what I've realized is that a lot of the people who are married, they were in relationship before they were married, so they never really had a single season. They had a not married season, but not so much I'm single season. But for the ones of us who have been consistently single, hey, for the ones of us, oh gosh, thank God, my hair comb. For the ones of us who have been consistently single, the loneliness hits different. For those of us who are married and experiencing loneliness, I'm really sorry that that's your situation. I don't think that should be the case for anybody, and vice versa if you're in a relationship as well. But everybody might be able to. I believe everybody might be able to identify with a moment where they would have experienced loneliness. And when you have been single for a while, it can hit different. You can begin to feel as if you are rejected or you're abandoned, or if something is wrong with you, like if you're defective in some way, like your mind can start playing tricks on you in that major way, right? So how do you deal with loneliness? So this is some tips for persons, and even if you're not serially single, consistently single, but you do experience loneliness, I hope these help you, right? So to change your mindset and your perspective from waiting to stewardship. Stop seeing it as waiting and start seeing it as stewarding. How am I stewarding this season of my life? When you start seeing it as stewarding, then your mindset shifts to serving. What should I be doing in this season? What has the Lord placed in my hands that I'm able to steward, and how am I dealing with that? So now your time is not spent just kind of like, oh, the clock ticking and again, older and again. That. No. What would you have me do in this season, Lord? And that is an important question, because there are some things that you can do while you're single that you cannot do when you're married, or you wouldn't be able to commit as much time to when you're married. Yeah. You can get into First Corinthians. Is it 7? Paul talks about that, right? Where your affection now lies. So, for instance, breaking generational curses, your single season is the perfect time to be doing that. You can get up at any hour and pray. You can pray as long as you want. You can fast for as long as you need to. You can war differently for the same husband or wife you're waiting for, right? So stewarding your time, stewarding your finances, making investments. These are things that you can do in that season, right? Right? Now you get to audit your digital closeness. Now, sometimes social media tend to make us feel as if we are missing out, or, as if our life is not as good or as fulfilling as it actually is. Please be reminded that a lot of these people are putting on a show. It is scripted. They are acting. They're not as happy as they look. There are some people who genuinely are, but a lot of people, they're not. That's why they spend so much time on social media. So don't romanticize the lives that you're showing too much. Don't spend so much time on social media when you can be building communities and connections in real life. Right? The next thing you can do is initiate the gathering. Instead of waiting for somebody to message you and say da 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 da, you know how you're feeling. When you begin to feel lonely or you feel that that thing coming on, that feeling coming on, you message, hey, Ole, Wale for anybody available to Lime? Anybody want to have a sleepover? Anybody want to go here? Anybody want to go there? You do that and you plan a Lime and you plan a date and you go out and you vibe with some people, right? And then you remember that you're not alone, and that's the trick of the enemy trying to get you to be trapped in a place that will isolate you. And then the next thing that you can do is serve outside of yourself. Volunteer somewhere. Volunteer somewhere. Go and clean up the beach. Go and intern somewhere. Do something. Join, start a hobby. Learn a new skill. Do something. Go and volunteer on Saturdays to help your neighbor. Just do something that is not about you. So you will see that you're connected. What you are, who you are, is connected to something greater, something bigger than yourself. Right? So these are some of the things that helps combat loneliness. Don't just sit on your phone scrolling because you're gonna feel even more lonely. You're gonna feel even more, So don't do it. So the goal should be living a fulfilled kingdom life while single without it feeling like a waiting room for marriage. So kingdom dating is only kingdom dating if it is intentional dating or courtship. I just wanted to itemize it like that. It is only kingdom dating if it is intentional dating or courtship. Do not get caught up in what the world is doing. We are called to a different standard, a higher standard even, a kingdom standard. So let's do it the way Christ intended for us to do it. All right? Talk to God. You like somebody, person like you too. Next step is to get to know that person with boundaries, healthy boundaries. Ask the hard conversation, have the hard conversations early, ask the hard questions early, bring them around your people early, right? It's hard for somebody to pretend for a long time. If it's just you and that person, they can pretend for a longer time. But if you keep bringing them around people, they will begin to see the cracks in the story, the cracks in the mask, in the everything. So save yourself some time. And then you've just heard about the ways you can combat loneliness. Changing your perspective from waiting to stewardship, auditing your digital closeness, initiating the gathering, and serving outside of yourself. And once you do that, you'll begin to feel less like you're in a waiting room for marriage and you're more being fulfilled in this phase, this stage of your life. Also, speaking to God about whether you are called to marriage or not, whether you are called to be a wife, a husband or not, and working on you so that you can become exactly what you're asking for so you can attract that into your life. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I did. You may not know, but I am a marriage and family therapist. So I love talking all things relationship, all things marriage. Like, I absolutely love it. I get excited talking about it. And I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. And just because I want to see people winning relationships, I want to see them winning marriages, and I want to see kingdomize the kingdom dwellers. I want to see them do it in God's way, His design, because that's the design that's going to last. So, thank you all. Remember, like, share, comment, click that little bell so you'll be notified every time we go live. We hope to start doing these weekly, but for now, it's every other month, every other Wednesday. Now it's every other week. So I will see you guys in the next couple of weeks on the 24th as we continue. And that will be our closing episode for this first segment of Conversations While the wait. You all have a blessed and wonderful night. Remember, God loves you and I do too. Bye.